Hey Internet, RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now, we are already just about to wrap up the first month of 2026, but before we do, we must as always do the Q&A. You know the deal, Riddler goes up. You drop your questions down below and take them the order they came in. So we've got everything from comparing Citi credit cards, if I had to restart my cashback setup from zero, all that and more. So we go along here, chapters, tools down below, skip around as you see fit, but go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. So, batting leadoff, we have Elizabeth here, who really, after my own heart with this question, I want to talk about Bank of America all the time. I'd really like to hear your thoughts on what will happen when Bank of America changes their credit cards in May, as noted on Doctor of Credit. I know you said you want to talk about it in a recent video. Someone listens, shout out, but ended up talking about Bilt instead. I did. God, we talked about Bilt for so long. I'd really like to hear your thoughts. What do you think? So, yeah, we found a slide. Well, we didn't find it. I mean, it was in like the earnings call. They said they were going to do something to preferred rewards. Now it's come out. They're actually putting it on the statement. I'll put the post up. It's going to go from preferred rewards to Bank of America rewards. So it's like the old Jim Gaffigan joke of like, who came up with the Hot Pockets line? Hot Pockets. It's just like, that's the laziest title change ever. But that aside, what are they going to do? Well, they're changing the tiers, right? They're adding like a member tier from 0 to 30K, which now like preferred reward starts at 25K, then 50K, then 100, then $1 million. So they're changing the tiers. So the big concern now is like, should we be cautiously optimistic, or should we be concerned that they're going to nerf us? I sit in platinum honors, which is 100,000 or more with them, up to like $1 million. So that's like money in a Roth IRA, and then I have a checking account with $1 in it because you're required to have a checking account. I have 4 credit cards, 3 customized cashes, and an unlimited cash. So I don't really think they're going to nerf the credit card earnings. And it could be wishful thinking. You could definitely accuse me of that. But if you think about it, you know, everyone else has 5% cards. So on the one hand, the joke of Bank of America is I have to give you 100 grand just to make, you know, my cards competitive, sort of, you know, but you have to put your retirement somewhere, so it kind of works and we just ignore it. So I don't know that they can really afford to nerf things like that, especially since, you know, there's a rule in the laws of power that you never interrupt your enemies while they're making a mistake. And we've seen U.S. Bank upset a lot of people. And while I don't think myself pulling 100 grand from U.S. Bank matters, I do think there was enough people who pulled their money back that like they noticed it. They knew it was going to come, so it wasn't a shock, but still, they messed up with theirs. SoFi is charging a fee now for SoFi Plus, and they're sending out some cardholders $10 monthly fees for their credit card. And the Robinhood Gold waitlist has really bothered quite a few people, as it should, especially since they started selling the card on Credit Karma, even though regular people have been on the wait list for some time. So all that to say, if you're Bank of America, like, you're really poised to take in a lot of people, even if we just focus on the credit card piece. Now, the other thing is they also have other products within preferred rewards as well. We just care about the card. So I almost think it'll be a change to the earning tiers. I think they might simplify it better. The math works when they say you get a 75% boost, but that's not really how people do math. The amount of times I get asked, so you mean my interest rate is going to be 75%? Well, no, it's not how you calculate that. So they could simplify it there. They could make it more approachable for the youngsters out there who, if you were super young, I'd tell you to just go to Robinhood, you know, because you don't get anything until like, you know, 25 grand over here. Now it says 0 to 30, and anyone with a checking account can be included in this to some degree. To what degree? We don't know. I don't think they're going to make the cards that much more aggressive. There's also no reason for them to, because I think they should make the unlimited cash go to 3%. But again, we've seen that, and there's no real reason to do it. As I just said, everyone else trying to do it is screwing up. So, you know, why would I go higher if I don't have to? So I think we'll be fine. I think it might come out to be much ado about nothing, honestly. I think it might be a program refresh, simplification, make it more approachable on the bottom end, and make it more impactful on the top end. There's not really that much value to after the 100,000, right? There's nothing really that you're missing out on at $1 million And so I think they could look at some stuff like that, for higher net worth individuals. Do they look at partner banks or ways to get them, above the 250,000 FDIC insurance if they don't already have it, for example, things that other folks are offering, through various channels. So long-winded answer, but I just don't see them doing anything drastic one way or the other. I've talked to Bank of America folks, nothing like behind the scenes, but I am told that like Preferred Rewards is a big driver in their financial centers about getting and retaining customers. I don't think they're going to ruin it, but I want to see. I am cautiously optimistic. Let's put it like that. So thank you for allowing me to talk about it and caring like I do. All right, Red Sox Nation here. Oh, good. We're going to upset everyone now. When is Donald Trump going to start believing in the free market? He is the most anti-free market Republican I've ever seen. Didn't you lead the charge for this guy? I assume you're talking about the credit card thing. I don't know what else he's been up to. I know he put his name on a building, and that's got people upset too. And that's all. I don't really keep up with it too much. I think we're going to talk about the credit card thing. He wanted the interest rates capped at 10%. Which would be stepping over into free market space. I assume it's one of those, he said it before, but I assume it's one of those things where he's like, oh, no one likes me anymore? Like, well, let me just bring this out and people will like me again. Which is funny because on the other end, he's also like, well, I'm going to garnish wages to get for student loans, but I'm going to save you credit card interest. He also seems like he likes to make wild demands, have people come pay pilgrimage to Mar-a-Lago. He did this with the Swiss tariffs, and the watch CEOs came, and Rolex bought him a desk clock, which I've seen the desk clock in the authorized deal. It's actually really nice. Things like $10,000, which is crazy, for a desk clock is be as much as the watch, but, he likes things like that. And then he comes out with, what he really wanted to be in the beginning. I assume it's something like that. Should he stay out of it? Probably, but this is one of those easy moves because, people don't like credit card interest rates, even though I'd argue, well, it's a choice and no one may just sign up or pay interest. But, so I assume it's a tactic like that. Should he stay out of it? Probably, but no president ever stays out of stuff they're not supposed to. I mean, Biden, wasn't he the one who told the auto workers, like, hey, you weren't going to strike, you're not going to strike, and then they went on strike, and then he came and walked with them, and we just magically forgot that happened. So, anyhow, there you go. I feel like you're turning on your guy, though, so I don't know what you're going to do with all those tattoos you probably have, but, good luck. All right, if we haven't upset everybody yet, D Green here, back on track, a channel member, and we'd love to see it, sir. Can you think of a worse new product rollout than Bilt 2.0? How would you have fixed the Bilt launch cards? And what new Apple products are you looking? Ooh, that's an exciting one. So Bilt, no worse launch in our space? Probably not. I mean, I don't think the Robinhood Gold thing went well with the waitlist taking as long as it did, or is still going on. Like, I don't think that's a good one, but that pales in comparison to this one. And the thing about the Bilt one is interesting. It's like, I know people are upset that I don't know. So we had some of my peers were able to go out to this thing, and I'm very happy for them because it's a cool thing to do. And I like that. I've always thought, to your second question, tech companies bring people out and send the information ahead of time. I don't know if every card release needs to be an event, but sending out press packets and things like that, I think are cool, and it helps everyone. Banks we're going to talk about it regardless. Why not just give us the information, And so I don't know if it's the fact that they went out or the fact that everyone was saying it was good, but we couldn't understand it, that folks were upset about. My point being with that part is it was set up to go well, bringing in people, having them the information ahead of time. And then, it went poorly. I think it went poorly around them trying to get cute around the processing fee. You'll never pay a processing fee, but that's what Bilt Cash is for, okay? But they didn't quite say that directly, but then you can also use Bilt Cash for all these other things. Now it ends up confusing and convoluted, and I understand they don't want us as customers, but I don't know how you sell this to anyone else regularly, on top of it being with cardless, which is going to be a tough sell, I think, for folks. So no, I can't really... How would I fix? I can't think of anything that's gone worse in our space. I'm sure there's something, but I can't think of it. Smartly went well until it didn't, but even then it was just over. It wasn't like they were clear and concise about ending it. So that's more upset, not confusion. So I'm going to say no, I can't really. How would I have fixed it? Well, I don't think they're too far off. I just think having 2 points currencies confuses it. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, hey, look, my mortgage here is $2,800 a month. Give me a meter in the app. Maybe they have this, and I don't know. Just give me a track that says you need to spend to be able to pay your mortgage. If you want to pay your mortgage at full $2,800, you have to spend X amount on the card each month, and just give me a tracker for that, and that's fine. I don't understand the point of Bilt Cash. Now, there's a bunch of different things you can redeem your Bilt Cash for, but it's on. They're trying to give you an option to, if you're not interested in rent mortgage, whether you can use your Bilt Cash for this. I don't know if anyone, but there are coupons and stuff, so I don't really know if that's super helpful. So I think just sticking to the formula of it's for rent mortgages, but also protecting Bilt Rewards so you can't just buy bananas anymore. I think that would have done the trick. And I guess that they do have that option in there. They gave, if you spend X amount, you get 1 point or 1.25 points back. I think that was probably the way to go, honestly. I don't think you need to be more cute than that, really. I also, cash back. I think at this point where you're trying to do stuff like this, I add cash back to the mix too, because that's a bigger selling point if you want to, use it as a tool to help pay off your mortgage sooner by racking up points you wouldn't otherwise get. That I think, because now you're getting 2% back on everything, I think, at the top end. So yeah, I think something like that would have done it. Apple products. So I don't really care about the HomePad, or I'm really not a big AI person at all, probably because most of the stuff is paywall now. I mean, you use Gemini and stuff. I think it can be free if you have a Google phone, but I would say studio displays for sure. The problem with the studio displays is I have 3 of them. They're already $1,600 each because I got them on Visa mount. I don't know that I would switch them. One, because it's hard to get them all lined up correctly. You got to disassemble the whole desk to do it. It's also going to be hard to sell these because, you're going to have to ship them off to somebody unless you want to try to sell them locally. If they made them bigger, bigger. They made them 32 inches, then I'm going to buy 3 of them for sure. I'd need a bigger desk, and it's going to turn into a very expensive overhaul, but I would do it. So I'm excited to see what they do about that for sure. The iPhone Fold. See, the rumors say it's going to be like the squash down passport style, and I would rather have it be like the Samsung. I don't want my phone to be smaller than the Pro Max, so I'd like it to be like 2 Pro Maxes that fold together like this. So I don't know that I'm going to love the folding phone. If it was like Samsung's, then I would probably be interested, but right now I don't want a squash down version. But I want to see what they come up with as well. So for me, it's that. And then the following year, I think when the MacBook Pros are going to get an overhaul to OLED, I think, and then they might make them even thinner, which is helpful because I do carry the 16-inch MacBook Pro. So studio display, fold. At this point, I should say, are they going to make the next Pro Max in black? That too. And then, yeah, I want to see what they do with the HomePad. I don't personally care. I talk to myself at home. I don't need to talk to a computer. But yeah, those would be the ones. 32-inch studio displays, mini LED, 120 hertz, more Thunderbolt ports. Let me daisy chain them. That would be great. Because I love the cable management deal. I would probably do that. God, it's going to be so expensive though. Curmudgeon, when is the House of Diamond ever going to get out of this rut? CSR refresh kind of fell flat. The Freedom Flex is a joke, and they still don't offer a carb, gas, groceries. So I understand and I agree with you. The problem with this question is when you say rut. So if I'm talking to Diamond and I say, dude, you're in a rut. And he says, well, I'm the largest bank in the States, and I'm like the 5th largest bank in the world, I want to say. Are you sure I'm in a rut? Are you sure? I think it's really just it's down to us, right? I don't think that we cared for it. There are some of my peers like the Sapphire and this, that, and the other, but they very clearly didn't want the customer base that they had built up for so long in the trifecta group. So I can definitely agree with you that it is a rut. I don't like the new cards at all, but again, I wasn't supposed to. I will agree with you that the cashback cards probably need something. The Freedom Unlimited is still a good card. It's not 2x back, but you got to remember, I mean, the regional banks and things like that, a lot of them aren't at 2x back either. And where normal people are at is I get a question a fair amount of time of like, if I got a Wells Fargo card but I don't have a checking account with them, how would I pay the Wells Fargo card? So, like that's who they're dealing with. So, I mean, to answer your question, I think Chase is doing fine and exactly what they want to do. For us, I think that run is over. I do think they need to fix some of the cashback cards for the masses. I do think the Freedom Flex came out in like 2020 or 2021, so it's been quite a while since we've seen anything over there. The cashback side, I do think regular people are probably sick of the rotating categories, so they should probably do something like that. I think it's now officially safe to move the Freedom Unlimited up to 2% back, given that the trifecta the original trifecta meant you transferred points and you redeemed in the travel portal for the outsized value. That's my interpretation of the original trifecta, not you ship them out to Hyatt. But that used to be the argument. Well, they can't do 2% because then it becomes a crazy amount if you did that. But now that's just about dead. So I think you can bring the Freedom Flex up to 2% back, and then I would make a custom cash competitor, and I think they're right back in the running for cash back. Because if they did that, I would simply product change all my Freedom cards to a cashback competitor if they allowed it. Like that would be fantastic. But I think this is what they want to do. And again, if you say rut, but I'm still number one, I get your point. But from their vantage point, they're like, I'm still number one, man. But that's what I think they need to do. Focus on the cashback stuff, and it's still CSR still in year number one, so we'll see how it does. If I'm them, I don't even know how it's doing yet, but I agree it definitely wasn't great of a launch. Matt here, can we get an Amex MR personal card with a 2x catch-all? No. Even a 30 to 50K annual cap would be nice. No, because if they wanted to do it, they would have done it by now. I guess the same thing that I said to Chase applies here, except the weird thing that I will give you is I don't know why American Express ignores free cards so much. They're starting to sell deposit products more, and generally those things are paired together, and it just seems like if you wanted to sell a checking account, you'd have a credit card to sell that was free. I mean, they have free ones, but whereas Amex flips it and says you can only apply for this account if you have a credit card, which is a weird thing to say. I agree with you. There should be the cash magnet should be moved up from 1.5 to 2x, but I also think there's so many people running around flexing about having Amex cards and think it's so cool that why give out that extra half point if I don't have to? I don't often tell people what I do, but if I tell them I'm into credit cards, they're like, yeah, but do you have Amex cards? Like no one says, do you have Chase cards? No one cares about my Bank of America cards. But Amex, I guess you don't need to for whatever reason. I do think it's a miss though to ignore that whole side of cash back. I mean, they would say they're not ignoring it, but I think they're ignoring it pretty bad. And I think they're missing the part where you can transition customers through the life cycle of like, I'm into free products now, I'm into annual fee products like that, right? Maybe they're not interested in those customers, but they just seem to want to start everyone out in the expensive cards. So yeah, you're right. We should have it. I would have just made the points currencies. I know you said MR, but I'm going for both of them, right? Because they have the business cash and the Blue Business Plus, which is a cashback and MR earning card. Points, you should definitely have a 2% back card, but no dice. I don't think it's going to happen because it's an obvious play and they haven't done it by now. Well, they're just not going to do it. So sorry, dude. I agree with you, but I don't think it's going to happen. Okay, here we go. This is grab bag time from our super fan, Carib Dude, who told me how to pronounce his name. I probably messed it up. So he's got a lot of questions, so it's going to be a lengthy chapter here. He saves them up. So I might just buy him a Magic 8-Ball and see if that can take care of it. So what does he do in the off weeks? How does he get through life? How does he know what toothpaste to use if he doesn't ask me? I don't know. I don't even know if he finds this funny. All right, so I may have asked this before, maybe someone else. Who are you talking to? What other shows are you watching? Well, now I'm offended, sir. But if you did have the Wells Fargo autograph journey, are you planning to keep it and never downgrade it? I would keep it. You can't, it's actually really hard to product change Wells Fargo cards. I called and just tried to product change my autograph to a journey. They're like, no, you can't do it. So I would keep it. A travel card with insurances that's easy to use and high multipliers has me written all over it. So it would be like my one keeper annual fee card, I want to say. All right. When do you think Wells Fargo will announce their Tier 4 card to compete with the Venture X? There was a rumor that they were going to come out with something in February, so Valentine's Day maybe. Give me something to do other than sitting alone. Um, that's as good a guess as any. I would guess if they're going to do it this year, it would be by March or April at the latest, something like that. If it's aimed at travel, you want to get it out before like spring break and summer vacation starts. That'd be my guess if they were going to do it. I think they're going to do one. I mean, it just makes sense to have something in the lineup that expensive when everyone else has something in the lineup that's expensive. I mean, why not? If people are willing to give you money, you might as well do it. Would you consider the Citi Double Cash the OG 2% card? Yes, I would. The original 2% card that he thinks it came out in 2014. I don't know when it came out. I think it was the first mainstream one, I want to say, or they just did the best advertising of it. So yes, I would say the Double Cash is the OG 2% card. I mean, as we've covered, well, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, to an earlier question, I mean, Chase never had one. Amex doesn't have one on the personal side. Bank of America doesn't have one on the personal side, which really leaves Wells Fargo as the active cash, and then there's others like the Fidelity card and Bread, too, things like that. But yeah, Citi was, I would say, they're the OG one. Opinion of the regular Strata, the white one. Also, what card category would you consider that card in? Cashback, rewards. NerdWallet puts it in rewards category type. Also, what would that be? Also, would that card be good for someone who didn't want to pay for the Strata card, which is $95? Do you think Citi Strata is a good cashback card? I mean, I'll put them both on screen for you. We can take a look. The white one isn't a bad card, You're getting... Well, they all do that 5% back on hotels and stuff through Citi, but you're getting 3 back on supermarkets, 3 back on transit and gas stations or EV charging, 3 back on an eligible self-select category, which is nice, and then 2 back at restaurants. In the self-select categories, I don't remember what those are on the top of my head, but I don't think it's a bad option. The reason that thing got crushed is, here I found it. The self-select is... fitness clubs, streaming, live entertainment stores, cosmetic stores, barber shops, hair salons, and pet supply stores. Versus the Premier is, 3x airfare and hotels, 3 back restaurants, 3 back supermarkets, gas and EV charging. So plus you get the travel benefits there. So yeah, I mean, I would think that I like the Strata Elite. I think, if you're going to do an annual fee card, the Strata Premier, sorry. If you're going to do an annual fee card, I think that's not a bad one to do. The Strata, the white one, I mean, I think it's a cash back card. It almost doesn't matter because they're thank you points and you can cash them out however you want. But I would say to me, it's a cash back card, and the points are meant to be pooled in thank you points and then dumped, into your thank you pool and sent to American or however you want to do it. I mean, I think the Strata Premier is better. Could you use it in place of the Strata Premier if you didn't want to pay the fee? Sure, because you could also supplement with a few other cards if you wanted to. So yeah, that's possible. I think I answered that one. Comparison. Can I do a comparison? I mean, we just kind of did a comparison of it, so I'll say we're good there. Going back to Thanksgiving 2025 Q&A, God Lord. When I had asked if Citi Strata Premier is the same color as the current Capital One Quicksilver, you had used the old one. Someone remembers, with the chip on the right. I didn't mention it at the time, but can you read the comparison of the Citi Strata Premier and Sure, I'll put both of them up because the question is, do they look the same? I think they look pretty close. I mean, yeah, the Strata has a little bit more of a design pattern to it, but yeah, they look pretty close to me. The new Quicksilver design looks just like the Venture X. It does. It's kind of got that like gradient type of the Saver and the Venture. I mean, it makes sense. The Saver and the Capital One. It makes sense to refresh them and have the same design language across the whole card lineup. They even did that with the Venture cards too. I mean, they have the little logo stamp in there, but it looks a lot cleaner. More simplified. A new look gets us talking about it for a day or two. So there we go. So I'm agreeing with you there. Is it possible for Saver, Quicksilver, and Venture 1 to work together? I believe it is. I think you can transfer the points to the Venture X. I don't see why you couldn't transfer to the Venture 1. Again, my opinions on the Venture 1, not super helpful. But I think you could do it. I have heard, it's really hard to get an answer. How many Capital One cards can you have? I think you can have more than two. They're just harder to get, and many of us age out on our credit reports. Let's see. Do you know of anyone or heard of anyone who has at least 4 more City Custom Cash credit cards? Not personally, but I know someone. I've had comments of people who have 3 and I think 4. 3 for sure. I don't know if anyone's got. I'm sure someone's done it, right? Because like City's very open with product changes. I know someone's commented and told me they had 3. I don't remember someone's told me they had 4 or not. At 4, I think you start to run out of categories. Like, there's a ton of categories, but like, how many of them are useful to you? But I'm pretty sure I've talked to someone who had 3. 4 sounds plausible. Best modern day grocery credit card as of January 21st. AAA Daily Advantage, easy. 5% back groceries. It's not even close after that. I think your Strata Premier has 3% back at groceries, but I think the AAA Daily Advantage is the only free card that's going to get you 5% back groceries. Plus, it works in person at Walmart. I think that's the top one. So you say top 3 or 5. I mean, I guess, yeah, sure, you could use the custom cash too if you wanted to, but yeah, I'm going to say AAA. Which is to your next question. This may be an obvious question, but do you need a AAA membership to get the AAA cards? No, you don't. I don't have one. I have Progressive. I don't have AAA. What you do need to do is, it's weird, when you go to the landing page, it's going to want to auto direct you based on where you're located at, because it's like, they're through like AAA Northeast. So you have to type in like a New York zip code, and then it'll take you to the landing page and you can apply, but you don't need a AAA membership. I know a lot of YouTubers say it's a great credit card. It is I think I just said that. It is a great credit card. It's my top, to your grocery store card, it is the top grocery card. It's the one I use. So yes, there you go. What was your previous Sunday video? The Bilt 2.0 video released on January 18th, supposed to be about, because I said I didn't want to talk about Bilt. I wanted to talk about the Bank of America thing, which we did earlier today, and then I think there were a few other topics as well. Bank of America stood out to me. Bilt, I didn't really want to spend a whole episode talking about Bilt, but I don't do the show for me. I do the show to make money, which means I have to do the show that people want to talk about. And it turned out to be a good decision, because like that video got like 6,000 or 7,000 views, which is quite a few for me. So it turned out to be good. But yeah, it was just such a large topic that it needed the whole video. I mean, I already rambled in that video for like 20-ish minutes, so it turned out to be the right decision. But it's supposed to be, a segmented show, but on occasion, a topic is so big that it warrants a whole video. So there you go. He liked to hit the banana peel. I saw basically the title of it was Bilt Rewards Hit a Banana Peel, because they made a joke about hitting banana peel, like people buying bananas. Reminded him of Mario Kart. That's good. I'm not a Nintendo fan, but I have heard a person or two mention that. So I'm glad it worked out. Glad it was funny. Explain what I meant by ad reads. What I mean by ad reads is that, someone like, have you ever seen like The Herd with Colin Cowherd? He picks up a paper after a commercial break and he reads an ad. That's an ad read, literally reading an ad to the audience. That is an ad read. Let's see. Yeah, if I was bigger and I got more. So I guess I must have said I don't do ad reads. Yeah, I mean, it's based off of, they pay you off of views, right? Because that's what they're interested in. So, I don't get a ton of views. So it's not really, in my opinion, worth the headache and the time constraint it makes to go back and forth with a company on all this, on the statement of work, on revisions and everything. When I don't get that many views, so they're not going to want to pay me that much money. If you get, like he says, Graham Stephan, if you get like Graham Stephan money or views, and yeah, you're going to get a ton of money for doing ad reads. So I might do some in the future, but for right now, with a real job, I don't really have to. So there you go. While in discussion above, what does YouTube monetization and demonetization mean? YouTube monetization is just a fancy way of saying the video is earning money. So it's earning money per view. So you see the commercials embedded in the video. If you watch those commercials, I think I get paid. The unskippable ones you get paid for. If you skip the ones that are skippable, I don't think I get paid. I've never looked into it that much. So there's criteria to make a video be monetized. Basically, YouTube doesn't really care what you say. They just don't want to make advertisers mad at them. So if if I said a bunch of blasphemous things, or, you know, inappropriate things, then maybe that video gets demonetized because they don't want to sell it to their advertisers as ad inventory. So the video would still be published, but demonetized, meaning it's not earning any money. Does being a YouTube premium member help creators? What about channel memberships or something like Patreon? So being a premium member, I think you just get a few bucks or whatever. I don't know how much it is, right? But there is a split. It'll tell you how many views are from premium and then how many views are from regular. Because premium doesn't have any commercials, I think they just pay you like a flat rate. I don't know how they calculate it. So it definitely doesn't hurt. I wouldn't go ahead and join premium just for that. Just join it if you don't want to watch commercials. But the gist of it is because there are no commercials, people who host shows would cry, so they throw them a few dollars or whatever it might be in for the premium member because, you know, they weren't able to sell them any commercial inventory for that view. That's what premium means. I have channel memberships, you know, if you're interested. I mean, it does help. In mine, channel memberships are basically YouTube's version of Patreon. You know, you'll see people say, go join my Patreon, give me $5 because reasons, right? And the reasons vary between good or they just want money. So to answer to that and keep people on platform, YouTube had channel memberships, which is the same exact thing. You can give me money because reasons. And the benefit here, in my opinion, is that it keeps people on platform. I'm not asking you to go join Patreon, which is off platform. If you're on Google, presumably you have a Google account, so you're, you know, good to go. It does help. Mine are like $5 a month, cancel any time. It's a Discord server shared between this channel and the main channel. The gist of it is that, you know, we try to refer one another to bank promotions and credit card offers. It's much more focused on bank promotions. Credit cards, we all have the same cards, so there's only so much you can do. But, you know, so once I max out a referral link, which is usually 5 or 10 heads, I'll put a channel member's link up there, and, you know, they get to keep all that money. So at $5 a month, you know, hopefully your membership is paid for by a referral or two each month, but you get to keep all that money that you earn. So that does help. I think it's like a 70-30 split between me and YouTube, I want to say. So it definitely does help. But yeah, if you're interested, if you're not, I mean, that's totally fine. It's definitely not for everybody. We're like maybe 100 members strong over there. I've heard if a viewer is not a YouTube premium member but decides to watch the full ad instead of clicking skip ad, that does help. I believe it does if you watch the whole thing. It's like an advertiser. If you don't watch the whole ad, they're not going to pay for that. So I think it does watch it. I mean, I wouldn't go out of your way. I mean, I'm not saying you're trying to be this nice. I wouldn't go out of your way to watch ads. I mean, as soon as I can skip them, I'm going to myself, you know, but I think it does. If they watch the whole ad, I do think that pays higher. But again, I haven't looked into it too much. Do you think the Dodgers will be a three-peat this year? Didn't they just sign somebody like big, and that sparked the whole debate of like, do we want a salary cap and everything? I mean, as long as they're willing to spend the money, I think, yeah, they have as good a chance as any. I mean, I had fun watching the baseball playoffs this past year, which is not something you could say in past years. So I would like to see them do it again. I don't really have a favorite team. I just like to be entertained and watch good teams. So, yeah, I think they've got a chance. I mean, we know in every sport, three-peating is pretty hard. So, you know, it won't be the easiest thing in the world to do. But, yeah, why not? Let's run another dynasty back. Am I going to start calling you Mr. Grab Bag? I wouldn't mind if you did. Well, I mean, it sounds weird for me to say to another man, I think. But, yeah, I mean, your section is generally titled Grab Bag because it's just like an assortment of random questions, so that could work. It could be his last grab bag for a while because I may have all my questions answered at this point. I don't think you'll be applying for new credit cards this year. No, I'll be applying for new cards probably in Q3. I think that when we get down to sometime between July and August, I'll be like 1 in 12 or 1 in 24. So I'll give it a shot then, but nothing in the foreseeable future. So apparently he knows everything he needs to know and will not need our services. Well, that's fine. You always know where to find me. When you have more questions, he says, stay safe. Appreciate it, sir. And thank you for checking in as always. And here are a list of questions. I hope I was able to help. So now we do have a few more here. So Rem here, checking in. It's been a while, sir. What are good business cards that I can sign up for that are good for tax payments considering the ink train is dead? The good news is like the payment processing fee is like what, 1.85 or something like that. So most business cards, the minimum I think are like 1.5, 1 or 1.5. It means you don't have to deal with too much of the processing fee. The number one that comes to mind is a Wells Fargo Business Signify because that's 2% back. It's a free card. I think it's like $500. Sign up. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll put it up, but that's a good one. Bank of America right now is running an elevated offer on the Business Unlimited Cash, which is a $500 offer for like $6,000 in spend maybe, but it's a 1.5x card, so you're going to get the vast majority of that intro offer. If you can get the Ink Premier is actually not a terrible one if you have like $5,000 or more tax bill, because I think it's 1.5 or 2.5 or something like that on purchase of $5,000 or more. I think, doesn't Amex have the Business Platinum have something like that as an elevated multiplier when you spend more than $5,000, I want to say. Another thing to consider is if you're a travel person, some of those hotel cards that, if you spend so much money in a year, they give you a free night award. I think Hilton does that. Or if you're trying to do airline status per se, you can put that towards spend as well as some others to consider. But those are the three I'd take a look at: Business Signify, that Bank of America offer, which we're going to cover on the second channel if we haven't already by the time you're watching this. And then I think the Business Platinum has something like that as well. And then I know you said the Ink Train is dead, but you should still be able to get an Ink card or two. You just can't run through them like we were way back when. All right. Next up here, Fevzi. Probably said that wrong. If you had no cards, what a nightmare. And we're starting today. What would your roadmap be for your first 5 cashback or hybrid setup cards? Give the order and how you would space out the applications. Please, my player 2 is warming up to my master plans. Well, that's good. Okay, so let me just name the cards first. So this isn't the cards to like earn the most amount of money in intro offers. Just like if you needed 5 cards, what would they be? So no particular order, then I'll put them in order. I need a catch-all card, so I guess I'll go with the double cash card since someone asked about it earlier. Wells Fargo Autograph gives me a lot of coverage at 3% back on a lot of things. I want the Amazon card. I think that helps out a lot. I want the AAA Daily Advantage. And if I get one more, I kind of want to do the Ink Cash, but I don't really, because I could probably, a better choice would be probably maybe the Cash Plus card, because I can pick 2 categories from that card at 5% back. Plus there's that 2x category you can choose if you need it, which I guess we won't because we have the double cash. Do I like anything better than that? No, I think those are my cards. You could make an argument for the City Premier, but I'm going autograph instead because I can get groceries from the AAA card and I don't have to pay the annual fee. I think off the top of my head, those are the 5 I would get. So the order, well, I've learned that Wells Fargo is the most sensitive because I had a friend who I got to apply for the card and got denied. And I was very surprised she got denied, but we'd also had her apply for another card pretty recently, and then that was what was in the letter. So I go Wells Fargo first, then probably Citi, because I think you'll be able to get those back to back. Then US Bank. I'm going in order of sensitivity, I guess. And you could probably do all those within the same month, I would imagine. If your credit report is pristine, and then Amazon, and then AAA. AAA last, because usually those cards cast a wide net. Like AAA approved me, and I had been applying for a bunch of stuff, and they still approved. It was like one of the last cards they got in my 2024 spree. So you could make Chase. I'm not concerned about either too much because you're still under 524. So to do it safely, I think maybe you go a flurry of them, like 3 very quickly. Wells Fargo, Citi, US Bank. And maybe you wait. I mean, to be safe, you could wait like 90 days, a minimum of 30, and try for the last 2. So I don't think you have to wait that long if you're starting at 0, though. But the order of sensitivity does matter here. And I put them in the right order of sensitivity. You could also reorder them in the case of need of we'll have a 2% credit card first, but I think you can get Wells and Citi back to back that you'll be okay, and then go from there. That's what I would do. Those are the cards I would pick. Happy she's getting in the game. maybe we'll have to. I did a setup for somebody one time. There was some interest in making that a video. So I don't know if you're interested, if she's interested in it, shoot me a message or something, and maybe we can work something out and like make it a little video. But then that way she'll be mad at me and not at you, I guess. Matt here. Are all content creators and blogs simply paid spokesmen for Bilt? I mean, it's a terrible program, but all influencers claim it's wonderful. I really appreciate your channel for focusing on cashback. Well, thank you, sir. I love cashback. Cashback has never led me astray. I don't know that they're paid. I understand your point. I don't know that they're paid in like the traditional sense of I sent a check. I know some of them had travel accommodations covered to come out. I assume what it is. I'll tell you my experience. So not with Bilt, but it's in general with affiliate programs. I was a part of the Cardonomics one. Technically, I still am. Sebi and Mandy run that one. I have like no links anymore. Not because of anything bad, just simply because I didn't sell enough cards, and the banks decided they didn't want to keep running compliance on people who weren't moving product. So I was never taught, like you would think they'd yell at me because like, hey, you always say things about American Express, but I've never once was talked to about saying stuff about American Express or any card itself. The big thing was writing it down. Like I agreed to not make a blog post about these things because you had to get the language exactly right. You gotta say learn how all the applications say learn more. You have to have to spell out the name of the card exactly, things of that nature. But saying stuff, at least for me, was never a problem. I'm kind of mean. So I would assume it's not that Bilt is paying them. I think it's just, hey, we got an affiliate link on a brand new product and we can push it out. And you can make a stupid amount of money selling credit cards. I sold some. And when the ink train was at its highest, I didn't make more than like $5,000 in a year. I wasn't any good at selling cards, but like some of those cards, like the bounties were like $400. I don't know what Bilt's paying for these right now, but I think that's it. It's just so easy. And then, I try to at least pitch stuff like, well, hey, this card sucks, but it's money, so you can get it and get rid of it for a year. Maybe they felt like Bilt wouldn't like that. Maybe they felt like the average person wouldn't see it that way and wouldn't be interested in it. That's also a thing. I've also seen the approach where folks, they present the facts only, and that's fine. You can present the facts only. I feel like Sebi kind of does this. He's like, hey, here's the facts. Here's some potential use cases. You make the decision. I think that's fine. Personally, I like to put an opinion on it, but that doesn't really help sell things, I guess. So to answer your question, I saw some videos, and I thought it was even being out there and having the information, it wasn't really explained very well. I don't agree. Like I saw a few folks saying, well, this is going to replace a Venture X. I'm like, how would you like this over a Venture X and a Saver combination? I don't think that works. I don't think that's better by any means, especially since we didn't have all the Bilt Cash redemption options at the moment. Especially because we have people who I don't even know how much money they pay for rent and mortgages. At least I told you how much I pay, so there's that. So I guess I'm not really defending them. I'm just trying to explain what I've seen. It wasn't the best look in the world. Maybe it's because we don't normally have events like this and people are excited to go out there. And if you think you say something bad about it, they won't get invited back. But if the event's that confusing anyways, why would you want to get invited back? So I do agree that it's a terrible program. I mean, there's also a lot of people trying to cope with it. It had a lot of hype and people liked it in the past, and maybe you felt a little bit let down and betrayed. And you're trying to cope with it and could come out with like, no, it's not that bad. Like, no, it's pretty bad. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think they were directly paid. I think it was more so pushing affiliate links than anything else and getting paid that way, which doesn't make it any better. I do think you burn a lot of credibility and you can be off-putting to quite a few people like that very quickly. So I don't think there's anything wrong also with coming out and saying, hey, look, I was really hyped for this thing, but boy, was I wrong. It's not very good. And would you on the second channel talk about bank promotions and things like that? And, I try to, again, put an opinion on it and tell you what I always try to say, would I sign up for this? Because it doesn't matter. Like, you might want to sign up for it, and that's fine. I might not want to. Many of you like travel cards. I don't. So I try to put an opinion on it, things of that. I always tell you when it's a referral link and affiliate. I'm not saying they did or didn't, but yeah, it was so very obviously not good. and have a lot of people trying like, hey, I'm going to use this card. Are you? How are you going to use it? Because all you told me is it's going to replace one card, but I don't show me the setup that this card is going to fit in. And I don't think it's going to. But overall, I think that was really, it was just an opportunity to get a bunch of money, and off affiliate links, if anything else, which is also weird because I believe TPG had the best affiliate link out of anybody. So technically, I mean, you should at least send them to his link, but I agree with you. I agree with you, sir. Few more here. 50 grand. Do you still plan to create a video using your homes for your spending, etc., to show your viewers how the Bilt 2.0 system is supposed to work? I mean, supposed to is like, do we know how it's supposed to work? To our last question. Yes, I should do that because I think it'll be a fun video. So this Thursday will be the Q&A. Let me plan that for I guess that'd be the first week of February. Let me sit down and do the math and see what I can come up with. And can I make it make sense? Seeing into Matt's question, I think that'd be a perfect case to walk through. Like, here's what you can do. Now, if this is useful to you, get the card. If not, no big deal. But stop trying to tell me it's this amazing refresh when it's really not. Because you're also trying to tell us, they want us gone specifically, so why would we think it's good, So yes, we'll put that on the books here. All right, potentially a weird cut because I ran out of batteries and we had to grab some more juice. So we're back for the final 3 questions. Mr. Matt Kramer, you're checking in. Several questions. Well, clearly you don't know what the car dude or Mr. Grabbag has in mind when he says several questions. So I suppose I allow it if I allowed his. What got you into credit card game and bank churning? What made you decide to create content around it? Do you remember your first bank and credit card churn? So, I think originally I was buying custom dress shirts, and they were like, I don't know, $150, $200 a piece. It's just what they cost. And so I was like, you mean if I spend this much money and I get this freedom, the OG freedom card, and I just, spend, I don't know, I was going to spend whatever the $500 was anyways, and then some, but then the bonus is like $200. You mean I get a free shirt just for doing that? Sign me up. And that was my first a real credit card. I think I had one before that from a local credit union. It just made a lot of sense to offset that purchase price since I was spending the money. I would try to do the categories, but I think it was my only card. Then later, I think I got the Freedom Unlimited. But I remember that came out later in 2016 or something like that. I didn't really start churning cards. I don't churn too many cards. The ink cards would probably be it, and some of the sapphire cards. But most of the cards I have can be product changed to keeper cards. So I haven't really churned, canceled and reapplied for too many. Ink and sapphires come to mind. Of course, I've gotten multiple Bank of America cards, for example, but in the spirit of churning, I think it would just be the ink and sapphire cards. John from Bank Account Bonus Central got me into bank promotions. I knew it was a thing, but he came on the show years and years ago. He kept talking about it, and I was like, all right, well, let me give it a try and actually document it, keep track. So I did a few in the first day. So Huntington was officially my first, but I think I did Huntington, Citizens. I have the list, I'll put it up. But I did a few in the first day, and that's the first of actual keeping track of it. So I think those were my first, and I've done Huntington every year since. And then as far as creating content, well, I never really wanted to be on TV talking about this stuff. It was really more so I thought I wanted something else to do and to make money. And I thought the barrier to entry would be fairly low cost-wise. And funny enough, this was going to start out as a general finance channel. Since I was in the mortgage business on the mortgage desk, I figured it was right around the time where rates were going down and everyone's freaking out. So I figured I would talk about that. But no one really cared. And then plus it proved easier to talk about credit card stuff since you already had to learn a bunch of other stuff like making the videos, talking, and that whole thing. So the credit card thing just kind of stuck, and it went from there. And that was about 5 years ago, give or take. So I think it turned out pretty well, but it was really just, I didn't really want to be on the internet or I like talking about it, but I never really wanted to be on TV, which is more so I need something else to do. The barrier of entry seems fairly low, and I see other people doing them. I go, I could do this, so why not do it? I think I took those Trump bucks that we got, that $1,200, and turned it into like the budget to start the show, actually. Do you remember what first? So I did the first credit card and bank churn already. Yeah, so I think we hit all your questions. Good questions. So those are the origin stories, if you will, for several questions. Some other people take note on what several means. Jimmer here. What is your opinion on the Fidelity Visa credit card? I don't have a strong opinion on it. I like the way it's set up. It's a 2% card. I think it works for people. I know a guy, I don't think he's watching this long into the video, but I know a guy who's talked to him recently, who that's his one credit card because it's super. I think he might have others, but this is his main credit card. It's 2% right back into Fidelity. I think it's a great setup. 2% is at least a table minimum. I also like it as part of a cash back setup, of course. If you wanted that in place of a double cash, that's fine. And even if you were running travel, but you're like, this is going to make me a little bit more financially responsible, maybe do the responsible thing and load up my brokerage. So I think it's perfectly fine. Plus I don't think you have to deal with the annoyances of those Elon cards normally come with redemption limits because it's all going to your Fidelity brokerage. So if you wanted that card, I think it's perfectly fine. I don't have a strong opinion for it or against it. I think it's better than like the Schwab version. It's like 1.5. So I like what they're doing over there overall. I think more brokerages should look to have that tie-in, as opposed to like the overly complicated stuff, what was it? I can't remember who was M1 or somebody had a brokerage card, but it was like a lot more complicated. I like there's the simplicity of it and how it works. So I would be, if you wanted that card, there's nothing wrong with that. I've never heard anyone say anything bad about it. Last one here, Nick. I currently have the custom cash, but I want to get another one. I want to get another. This is my only city card. What is a good strategy for this? The easiest thing to do, I don't think you can apply for the second one outright, but you'd want to apply for another city credit card and then product change it. If you want, the quickest way to do it would probably be to get a city double cash. I've seen people product change those cards fairly quickly, like the 6-month mark, I want to say. Because there's no annual fee, you can do that if you find someone who lets you. If you want the biggest promotion offer, then you want the Strata Elite or Strata Premier, but you're going to have to wait 1 year to product change it. But that's how I got to. I applied for one outright, then I product changed my double cash to another custom cash. I don't think you can just apply for 2 of them. Like that's one other thing, like Bank of America, all the way for an hour ago when we talked about them, they let me apply for multiple custom cash, customized caches, but they're rare in that, so most people don't let you do that. So product changing, you want it quickly, no annual fee card. If you want the biggest bonus and you can wait a year, well then just get the biggest bonus, wait a year, phone up, and then do it. Should not be a problem. And there you go. That is everyone's questions answered. Some of you guys made me work for it today, but I'm glad that you checked in as always. So of course, yell at me down below. More questions, discussion, all of that down below. Happy to field them. But of course, thank you so much for writing in and watching. If you like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. So we're posting content just like this every single week. And of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And of course, every single day over on ProfitContent.com. which is, of course, the channel's blog. Always linked down below for you and on the channel homepage where we have, of course, the latest news stories, plenty of bank promotions if I've inspired you to get started, and credit card offers as well. Finished with 4% to spare in battery, but I guess it's cheating if I stop to do a quick charge beforehand. Anyways, that'll do it for this one. As always, thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon in the next one.